Hi, church. Happy Friday. It's Pastors Jen and Jacob here with today's digital devotion. Several years ago, when I was working at a church in Nebraska, after a worship service, a parishioner came up to me and was very upset because she said I had used partisan political buzzwords. And when I asked her to clarify, she said, "It was in your prayer today." And I said, I actually took that prayer word for word from the Book of Common Prayer, which is an interdenominational prayer book that has been used for many, many years.
The first one was written in 1548.
Yeah, it's old. I was using an updated version.
Those Brits.
But nonetheless. But I just thought it was so interesting that, she, and I asked her to give specific examples, and she talked about how I had said something about housing inequity or something, and I actually hadn't said any of the words that she had heard, which I found so interesting. The prayer was about peace and justice and finding equality among all of God's creation, things like that. But she had heard buzzwords that perhaps she had been hearing in the news or other media outlets that she was listening to. But I just think it's so interesting that in our lives, the language that we hear really does affect how we understand ourselves and our place in the world. And I think there can be these hot button topics that sometimes get so lodged in the forefront of our minds and are so inflammatory that we stop actually thinking about what they mean or why they might be spiritual or important. And instead, we just have a gut reaction to those topics, not even the words themselves. And I think that's what happened with this woman. And so that leads us to talk about the adult education class on Sunday.
Because it's going to be about what has become another partisan political buzzword, which is the topic of critical race theory. If you're in education, you probably have experienced this. We hear it all the time that parents all over the country are calling up principals and administrators and demanding to know whether or not their school is teaching critical race theory. If you're on the app next door, which can be toxic to your health, there's posts all the time about, "We've got to band together. I called the school and asked if they were teaching critical race theory and they wouldn't answer me." People don't even know what critical race theory is or what it means or what it teaches. And now all of a sudden, if in our schools, students are being taught, hey, our country kind of committed genocide against indigenous people, or we had institutional slavery, or the Jim Crow era wasn't fair, like just even the most basic concepts about racism, people go up in arms and wonder, is this critical race theory? Despite the fact they have no idea what it is. And you're right, it has become such a cantankerous issue that we can't even have a real dialogue about racism, which is so prevalent and so insidious and dangerous.
Right.
And so what we're going to have this Sunday is two members of the church who are in higher education, who are studying this topic, who study rhetoric, and they're going to talk to us about what critical race theory means, what its purpose is, why it's become so divisive, and what its role is supposed to be in the K through 12 system and beyond. So we really hope that you can participate in this and learn a little bit more. I have a lot to learn, and so we hope that this is a great way for you to engage this relevant topic. You can participate in adult education either by coming in person to the Louise Robert Room at 9 a.m. or by logging in on Zoom, and you can watch it over Zoom as well if you're worshiping online with us that day. If you are coming in person, we always have our childcare open starting a little before 9 a.m. So that's a great opportunity for you to come and drop off kids and do a little bit of self-development. So we really hope that you can participate in this class this Sunday, and we as a community can learn more.
Yes, and following the adult ed class, we will have worship at 10 o'clock, and Pastor Laurel is preaching. I'm so excited. I'm going to be her liturgist, and it is, of course, World Communion Sunday, so we will be celebrating communion with churches and Christians all around the world. It's a beautiful Sunday. She's got an amazing special sermon planned for that, so I really hope you will all join us.
We'll see you soon.